Evening all. I'm having today in studio. Great guy. Is basically David Shellenberg of Tunic. Tunic is a band from Winnipeg. If I'm not wrong, actually, I'm pronouncing Winnipeg.
You're right.
Dave, how you doing? Thank you very much for being part of this. How's your day so far?
Good. It's bright and early here, so I'm just getting going. But but thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time. It's really, really appreciated for that. So Tunic came out in 2021, which was a difficult year with an album called Quitter. And also they had an EP, which was actually including the 3 EPs, if I'm not wrong, which is called Exhaling in 2021 as well. Talking about the beginning, you guys taking the first step in 2012, and as actually I'm reading from your Beyond website, there were bands that were saying that it wasn't good enough. How'd that happen? I mean, what was that?
Yeah, so I played in a bunch of indie rock bands when I was like a lot younger. Like I'm 30 now, and I've sort of like I dropped out of university and just have been touring and playing in bands since I was 18. And I had a band leader, a band that I was in for about 4 or 5 years. Who I essentially like was number 2 in. It was his band, and I was a kid, and he just eventually told me one day that I wasn't really that good of a bass player, and that and after 4.5 years of playing in someone's band and also sort of helping float it financially, that really cut me deep, and so I just was kind of like, fuck that, and just quit and made Tunic, made a band that no one could ever tell me that I wasn't good enough to be in.
Well, for instance, when you actually were saying in another interview, I think it was reading online when you released the album, that actually you are not the greatest bass player. So actually you identify yourself more as a guitarist and actually bass player, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not a great guitar player. I'm not a great bassist. I'm capable of what I'm capable of. And that's just something I've come to accept my limitations.
Sounds. Since then, though, you guys have been having a frenetic activity across the globe. You've been touring ever since. I mean, like basically a band on the road. What this energy is coming from? What do you wanted to do? Wanted to demonstrate actually the product was great, or you wanted you guys to just experiment what kind of energy and impact you can have to the people in front of you?
Yeah, that's kind of all the above. Nothing was. I've sort of struggled with some mental health stuff my whole life, and playing live was a really great distraction from everything. It was like some of the only times in my life that I felt like totally free from everyday life. And so it's like pretty much like, to use, maybe not to use the best metaphor, but it's like I'm an addict. Like I just love playing live. It's the best high I've ever got my entire life. And so I've dedicated my whole life to chasing that feeling. And that's sort of, we had this conversation the other day at practice, actually, too. Dan, our drummer, was saying that they're like, yeah, there's parts of the tour that I absolutely hate, but every single time I finish playing, I'm like, worth it. Absolutely worth it. We're a live band.
Regarding we were talking a lot into the album Quitter. You're talking about being addict or something, and in particular was one sentence, because I'm suffering as well something, and that still in your bio, guys, this constant tinnitus that you are suffering. Is the constant tinnitus coming from the gigs? Is a temporary tinnitus, or you guys suffering for tinnitus? Because I do have one, so which is crazy.
Mostly just from the gigs. It's okay. Yeah.
So you coping with that?
Sorry?
Are you coping with that?
Yeah, we're coping. Yeah, we're I don't know. We're just taking care of ourselves the best we can in the world that that we're trying.
Good. So Quitter is coming in 2021, which was a year really difficult for music, in particular after 2020, which was a completely shut down and everything was happening around. It was a really strong decision for you guys to come out in 2021. Why that happened? You wanted just to release some material, or it was planned across a tour that it didn't happen, or that happened?
No, what happened was we actually recorded Quitter in January of 2020. We signed to Artifact in April of 2020. Jacek from Artifact wanted it to come out in the fall of 2020, and we were like, let's wait and see how this whole pandemic thing turns out.
Mhm.
And so we ended up pushing it back a whole year. So that's sort of just like there was no tour planned or anything. Like we straight up knew that we were releasing the record. We just knew it was time. We couldn't sit on it anymore. We had dates to go record the next record already. We had done Exhaling in April, so we just knew that it was time to get Quitter out there.
It was a subsequent tour, or you guys been blocked for a while? What happened? I don't know the situation in Canada and US.
Oh no, we were lost for a while. There was no chance of us being able to go on tour to support that record. Like when it came out, we were well aware that when it came out in October that we would not be playing any shows for it then.
Sounds. So what happened next? You guys did some live streaming to support. Was something actually bands that been doing it, like doing few live streamings or on different platforms, or you just completely shut down?
No, we we did a couple live things, live video things for we played this virtual festival called the New Colossus, which is like in New York, and we shot a couple live videos for some stuff off Exhaling too. So we just kind of did the best that we can in a world that doesn't where we couldn't tour. So we just tried to sort of bring the live show, and honestly just sort of allowed us time to sort of work the social media side of things and help build a connection with people online, because so much of what we do is hanging out with people at the merch table and like playing with other bands, and we're sometimes we're only playing to 20, 30 people, so we actually can have an opportunity to talk and hang out and make connections. So we sort of spend a lot of time focusing on online content to just sort of bring the band to some people that way and sort of help foster a community online.
Is that community? Is that thing that's been changing recently? I mean, 2022, things have been opening up over there, or they're still the same?
Yeah, things everything is 100% back to normal in Manitoba and Winnipeg in 9 days from now. Everything is dropped. We're full bore, which I obviously have mixed feelings about, but I also understand, I've done everything that I can. I've stayed home. My partner, she's a doctor. We've spent a lot of time at home, and I'm excited to go to South by Southwest and just play shows again and sort of get back out there.
Sounds. Going back, seems like actually you guys in Canada, you have been getting incredible noise / alternative post-punk scene over there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm thinking about Canada, I'm thinking of one of the most specific country around the area over there. Where does this anger comes from?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it's pretty wild, to be honest. Just in Winnipeg alone, which is a small city, Winnipeg is, with suburbs, is about 1 million people, and Propagandy's from here, Ken Mode's from here. Even saying Tunic's name and the breadth of those two other bands is wild to me. But yeah, we just I don't know, we just have this thing going on. I know that Canada is it's an okay country, and my anger just comes from within myself. But also it's just hard. It's hard to be a band from Canada, and it's hard to be being a band from America is so much, there's just so much more opportunity to be from the States, and it's just a lot of work to be a band from Canada. We have to pay a bunch of money every year to be able to even go into the States and play the US legally and stuff like that. So there's just a bunch of complications with it. That's quite frustrating.
So you guys having a kind of community over there with all these bands, or do you?
Yeah.
Also,
Winnipeg is small. And since I before I do my job that I do now, I owned and I've booked bars and shows for the last 10, 11 years of my life. Yeah. So I kind of know everybody in every scene just because of I owned a 250 cap venue, and so everyone just knows each other and everyone just respects each other grinding. It could be a guy that played folk rock, and if Tunic's at the same festival that they're at, there's just a mutual respect. But the heavy music community of Canada is so small that everybody knows everybody all the time, and like we're all friends either in person or online. And it's like we'll be in Vancouver, which is 2,500 kilometers away from Winnipeg, and like do you know this guy in Toronto, which is 4,000 kilometers the other way? But like, yeah, of course, like it's just one of those. It's just like it's like a high school. Like there's like 500 people in it, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, I know them, or I'm close to someone who knows them. It's just one of those things.
Sounds. Just going back on the album 1 second, analyzing the lyrics and the content of Quitter. Quitter is pretty much talking about quitting. There was a joke about the bass player saying like, you should call it like me, like, because I'm quitting the band. It was like, but it's a bit more intimate and I believe like more personal, because it's been talking about your you actually stopping drinking, smoking, and embracing the straight edge vegan path, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still there, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I never really. I think I had a tweet about this where I'm like, I never meant to become a punk stereotype and become a straight edge vegan, but here I am.
And going in Manor Thread the next month.
Yeah, well, it's just like I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm such a fucking joke, like But yeah, no, yeah, Rory quit, and I was at Rory's house last night. Like I was the best man at his wedding. We're still very close. But yeah, I had to quit drinking just for my mental health, and I had to quit smoking, and just because it cost too much money and it was bad for you. But yeah, I've maintained that still. It's been, I'm coming up on 3 years of sobriety, and it's not like I didn't quit to really like shove it in anybody's face. I just did it because it was something that I needed. It made me feel bad. It didn't make me feel good anymore. And I could sort of see working in bars for my whole adult life. I could just sort of see the pattern, the trajectory that I would have if I kept up with that life, and it wasn't something that I really wanted to continue. So quitting drinking, then quitting my bar job, selling my shares at the bar that I worked at, and sort of just trying to have a fresh start was sort of what it's all about there.
It seems like there's a big connection in between like extreme music and self-care or wanted of change, changing bad habits in general. I mean, like the punk rock scene, punk rock. Let's be more precise. Like whatever happened in the 90s with Minor Threat, as I was telling you, as afterwards, it's been like I believe like more in US than and then in Europe. I believe it's been a massive change, and actually build up movements like, for instance, straight edge or whatsoever. What do you believe it's this connection in between like extreme music and self-care? There is any connections in between?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think as people, either you commit to the life of touring and partying and not taking care of yourself, or you commit the other way. It was one of those things where like I just knew that for me to continue down the path of playing 100 shows a year and living the lifestyle that I was, that it would be detrimental to the band. It would hinder the success of Tunic. So I knew that I couldn't do it anymore. And so I think that that's a lot of people's reasons later on, because you see, like, when you're 20 and you're not starting sober, and you're a kid, you're on tour, you're playing shows for the first time, you're having adventures. And I think sort of as you get older, you sort of realize that you can't maintain that lifestyle. And I think like looking at Minor Threat or Fugazi or anything like that, like everyone in Minor Threat, pardon me, except for Ian MacKaye was a child. So it's pretty easy to be a child and to be sober. And I think I just think, yeah, as you get older, you just sort of realize that it's not sustainable to keep going that way.
It's not getting easier sometimes. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about composition and actually how you guys you're doing a lot of rehearsal. I mean, you're spending a lot of hours in studio.
Yeah. We made another record. We're sitting on a whole third record right now that we that I'm really excited about. But yeah, we obviously when we couldn't see each other throughout the pandemic, but we're together 2 to 3 days a week right now, rehearsing, writing, just getting ready. Like we have a new bass player, Tomas, who is awesome, and so he's been just catching up and with us and getting up to speed, and it's been great. But yeah, we work hard. Like this is a part-time job. I did the calculations on what the band owes me financially the other day, and it was very bleak. So but yeah, we work hard, and it's not everybody's very dedicated. It's very cool.
It's good. What's your opinion regarding? I mean, you guys having a really particular care about the product itself. I mean, like even
Mhm.
the vinyls, the way they look like, they're fantastic. There is a lot of I can see like a cure of the product behind that. So the vinyls as now, for instance, is a bloody cassette, which I love. I mean, it's hate love. I don't know because what are you gonna do with the cassette? I mean, I don't have a
Mhm.
cassette player at home. Just this one is the last stand of fetishism of a fan just going to the concert and they just bringing something back home.
Yeah.
It's a stranger's thing 101. But anyway, what I'm saying though, what do you think about you guys, for instance, is investing a lot into the product on something which is completely sterile and cold, like for instance any kind of streaming platform, like there could be Spotify, Apple
Mhm.
Music, or whatsoever. Is it beneficial? Is important at the moment, or is just something have to be done by you decide?
For streaming, you're asking if streaming is something that has to be done, or physical is something that has to be done. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, physical is important because you need a physical product. People who want to support you. So to be completely frank, my day job that I have now is I work in digital marketing for music. So
Mhm.
my job is I buy ads on social media for bands and artists. The biggest band I've ever worked with is Iron Maiden, where I did all the ad buys for them.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of opinions on music marketing and physical products and everything like that. So can of worms you just opened here. Physical products are important because people they want to take you home. They care about you.
Mhm.
And it's kind of just what you said. Like, it's like you may never listen to the cassette, but you wanted to give that person, that artist, money. You wanted to support them. And we obviously care so deeply about physical. I'm a physical user. I still buy records. I still buy cassettes. I'll buy a CD even because I know that the profit margin on a CD is so high because they
Mhm.
cost something to make. And so for me, paying them $10, I'm just like, sick. You just made $9 on that sale. Shirts, bands are mostly clothing companies these days. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Um, Going back to Ken Mode, like they have 8 or 7 shirt designs and all sorts of different cuts. Like they're very smart about it. It's a very profitable and wise thing to do. Sam Neal, who's our original drummer, does all of our graphic design and all of the packaging for Tunic. And so because he was in the band for so long, he's in the band for 5 years. He's so dedicated to making it look the best that it can. And he's done every single piece of art we've ever done. Like he's sort of like he was a band member. Now he's just like an auxiliary, like member of the team. It's just like, oh, gotta send this to Sam. And in the world of streaming, it's something that you have to do as a little artist because the discovery is so high. Um, the algorithms are so strong and so powerful that you can feed the beast and turn those casual listeners, casual streams into people that will come see you live. And it's just it sucks that the the pay is brutal but like that's just the reality of the world that we live in right now. But it's such an important tool for discovery, and I know that Spotify, yes, is a truly evil place, but it's also done a lot for smaller artists to be discovered by fans and be putting on playlists and like especially in the world where print media and blogs and all that stuff is sort of dying, where uh, not dying, but just like the select few are remains, and there's some holdouts, and they're very good and they're very strong. But I just mean like it can very much help boost the band's career. So it's kind of a necessary evil just at this point.
But even sometimes I'm feeling like a completely old fart. If I'm basically one of those guys that literally still reads like I think Sputnik.com, and the one I'm reading quite often, or Pitchfork or something like that, to discover bands. And what is really fascinating regarding the algorithm. So the way I discovered Tunic was in between like a jump on the algorithm between like Bummer. Going to Daughters, and at some point when like Chem Mode, Tunic, and Danger and other bands, it was like wow, it was something we just bumped on my screen, and I just imagine like is it just a matter of luck at some point, just a matter of a listener just being there in the kind of triangle of listening to. But there are many bands that, for instance, maybe they don't have the same kind of luck, and they are strong enough actually to be out there, but they're not lucky enough to be into the algorithm. Apart from that, another question I wanted to ask you, that we're still producing albums, we're still doing like loads of albums. Like the other day I was doing a review for an album about 20 tracks in. I was like, wow, who's doing 20 tracks in 2022? Yeah, people still doing that. But what this really scares me, though, I don't know if you agree with them, this kind of society with TikTok, you are coming from a digital marketing manager background, actually, that the attention just dropped from 3 minutes to 1 minute.
Yeah.
What's the future of the music industry for your point of view in that?
Oh yeah, there's so much brutal stuff. I actually just had so I work part-time at I don't know if you're familiar with Constellation Records, which is like Godspeed You Black Emperor's record label and stuff like that. And we were on a call with our distro team talking about that, and they were sort of about the future of music and people putting out of streaming, and especially for extremely alternative music. And it's one of those things where it's like some people will fold and focus on the content creation side of things and constantly have things to put out. Look at Taylor Swift with Taylor's version and everything like that. She's always putting out something new, pretty much, it feels like, all the time. And then there will be the diehards who will stay the path and be like, no, we put up one record, it's a record, no additional bullshit, like no 20-song albums, no, there will always be people like us who will want to listen to a full record by a band and will care and will listen to long form or short form heavy music. And metal music is still, I'll say metal heavy, is still one of the best selling genres in the world. So I think in our sanctity we'll be okay. But I think for the reality of pop music and TikTok and all that stuff, it's just going to keep getting worse. It's keep going to get shorter and shorter. I listened to pop radio the other day, and I was like, I know this song from TikTok. Oh, I didn't know this song had a bridge. Oh, I didn't know this song had like another, like a guitar solo in it. Like, I'm like, I never heard past 30 seconds of this song before in my life. So
that's weird, isn't it? It's like,
yeah. It's like, oh, this is actually a full song. This isn't just a jingle.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like you just you're completely cut off what's happening around. They just give you like a little bit of a mesh, and basically people around you, they're just listening to that. You're like, fucking man, it's not just 20 seconds. This one is about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Well, that band, a band I really like called Life Without Buildings, this amazing post-punk band that only really put out one record in 2000, blew up on TikTok. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why are there 16-year-old kids singing this like Slint meets, not Slint is a bad way to say it, but she just like talk sings the whole time, and it's just like this. Dry cleaning. It sounds just like dry cleaning, or dry cleaning sounds just like them. Sorry to dry cleaning if anyone from that hears that, but that's the reality, is you sound just like Life Without Buildings, and that's okay. It's been 20 years since then. That's okay with me. And so anyways, it's just wild to see all these kids. And I was like, but do these kids actually become fans? Do they buy t-shirts? Do they buy records? No, of course not. They just like listen to the 20 seconds of it. And then they like, listen to the 20 seconds of it on a Spotify playlist, and then they skip to the next song. Like, it's just stupid.
True, absolutely true. Listen, to Italy. I mean, I'm writing for an Italian newspaper. What do you know about Italy?
We've been to Italy. I love Italy. It's I am not a food person. I eat food for
Okay.
subs. I know. Bear with me. And I'm not a coffee person either. I don't drink coffee. Um, I am not a food person. I eat food for sustenance. But there are meals that I had in Italy in 2019 that I still think about every day of my life.
Oh shit. Oh,
Like, and I'm vegan. Like, like there's I was with Rory last night, and Rory and I was like, remember this food we had in Italy? He's like, yeah, fuck, that was awesome. Like, it's just like, and one thing that we did, we played a show, our first show in Italy. We were hanging out with the band that we were playing with, and we were telling them about North American pizza, and they were getting so mad. And they taught us all the swear words. That was like,
that is it.
yeah.
Which city was that?
Oh gosh, I'll have to look it up. I remember the venue was called Joe Koala. We played Bologna. We played in. We spent a bunch of time in Italy. Let me pull this up because now I want to know too. But I don't know a ton. I know that we played at Freak Out Club, which was awesome, and those guys are awesome, and they took us for some great food and spent sort of the day with them, and it was very great. Where did we go? We played in. Oh, I'm gonna just botch these names in front of you so badly. Bologna, Chapano.
The second one, Bologna, is cool. So basically, just middle and the north of Italy, I guess.
Yeah.
It's difficult to go in the south, unfortunately. In particular for what you guys do. I'm sorry.
We were there for like 5 days, and it was amazing and beautiful and just so cool. It was carnival. I don't know if that. And so I remember everyone's like, "Oh, your show's not going to be very good. It's carnival," and I was like, "I don't know what that is, but okay."
Carnevale. Sounds fun. Listen, do you remember any Italian bands? Or you were listening to any Italian bands at the moment? Or what are you listening at the moment, actually?
Italian bands, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know I've done it. What I'm listening to right now, I really like that Divide and Dissolve record. I don't know if that's like sort of doomy, sludgy stuff. They're from Australia or New Zealand. Okay. I've been really hooked on The Body for a long time now, for the last little while. We actually went and made our newest record with Seth Manchester, who records all the Body records, because how much I like them. Because of working at Constellation, I'm very adapted into that world, and so there's a new record called by Kia Bill, which is coming out next week, which I absolutely love. It's very like avant-garde singer-songwriter stuff. I love the new Caribou record. Came out in 2020. I sort of just listen between heavy music and indie rock stuff. There's like some real nice dream pop stuff that I listen to, but I share an office with 3 other people who work in the music industry, and we always have to listen to nice music there, and we listen to a lot of drone music and together, which is nice. So like Anna Roxanne and stuff like that. But then I listen to like, on my drive home, I listen to Bummer and sort of like the homies, like.
So do you like Bummer?
Of course.
Great band.
We, we're, I don't know, can I spill the beans on this? I don't know, sure, why not? We're going to Kansas. We're going to write a record with Bummer.
Oh, nice.
We're doing that, and I guess at the end of the month, we're going to go spend a week down there, and we're going to try and see if we can write a record together. So.
Oh wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you just made me happy, actually. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. It sounds great. Oh my god, I'm excited. I mean, like, honestly, guys, I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be massive. All right. Okay, then just to chill. I don't want to think about that now. Just think about it when it's coming out. That's cool. Well, so apart from that, you said the album is done already. The album for 2022 will be 2023.
It'll be 2023, I think. Yeah, we just recorded at the end of 2022. We went to Rhode Island to record it with Seth, who has recorded The Body and Lingua Ignota and Big Brave and Daughters and and so it was cool to go work with him and sort of switch things up for us, and we'll sit on it. I'm actually just finishing up. I'm sort of halfway through a solo record that I'm working on too right now, because I can't stop writing music apparently. And every time I've wrote a Tunic riff, I'm like, I have to stop doing this. I can't, the world does not need a Tunic record every 6 months or every, we have to focus. And so I just trying to just not write Tunic songs right now. We've sort of decided that in August we'll try to do that again.
Cool, that's great. Did you listen to the last album of Lingua Ignota, Soon I Get Ready?
Yeah, of course.
Do you like it?
Yeah, of course. It's great.
Completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Kristen's a genius. She's a genius. It's a powerful, powerful thing, and she's a poet, and she's had so much. It all makes sense with all that stuff came out about Lex. It all just made sense. That happened literally. That all happened as we were driving away from the studio. And Seth made all those records, right? Seth is friends with he's very close with Kristen and speaks very highly of her, and so it was and how great of a time he has making records with her. So it's kind of weird to be 1 degree separation. I know it was Dan, our drummer's album of the year. They loved it. So
yeah, it was pretty good stuff. Honestly, I believe it was one of the best that she made so far.
Yeah. I saw her. She was one of the last shows I saw before the pandemic hit, and it was incredible. It was extremely powerful. She opened for Daughters, and I'm not saying this because of all the things that has come out about Daughters being shitty, but it was better. It was better than Daughters. and I flew across the country to go see Daughters at the time, and she was better. So
never had the pleasure to see Daughters, unfortunately. But honestly, you won't get what you want. I think it's a masterpiece somehow.
Yeah, I agree that it's a great record. Unfortunately, I just I'm not at a point where I can really listen to it anymore. So it's
me neither. I have to actually throw away the T-shirt at some point. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I know my daughter's T-shirts are in they're just they're being cut up to become rags, for me to clean my kitchen with.
Yeah, I think we're having the same opinion regarding that. Yeah. We don't talk that much about that. Now, I've been deeply touched about what happened, in particular because I had a high reputation about Daughters in particular. It really influenced my sound with one of my bands. Yeah. So after that, I was like, whoa. I spoke with Dave, my bass player, was like, dude, jeez. Anyway, we don't talk about that anymore. So new record coming 2023. Tunic, just stay tuned. Dave, I know you actually have to go. It was a pleasure to have you here with me. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. It was fun.
No, that's actually was a blast. Thanks a lot, and keep in touch soon. Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.